In early May 2026, the United States and over 20 partner nations gathered 10,000 troops in North Africa for African Lion 2026, a massive demonstration of future warfighting technologies and multinational coordination. But at 2100 on May 2nd, the scheduled maneuver stopped. During a routine base-wide head count at the Cap Draa training area, 2 U.S. Army soldiers were reported missing. They had last been seen leaving for a recreational hike after the day's tactical drills had concluded. The largest military exercise on the continent was instantly suspended. The mission shifted from testing experimental weapon systems to locating 2 soldiers in the darkness of the Atlantic Saharan littoral. The search zone is a high-risk environment where the western edge of the Sahara Desert meets the Atlantic Ocean near Tantan. The coastal cliffs here are composed of sedimentary layers that are frequently undercut by high-energy surf. This creates a sea cliff geography where ground that appears solid can be a thin, overhanging crust prone to collapse. Environmental data from the search area shows why the first 48 hours are so critical. While daytime temperatures are moderate, the night brings 86% humidity and wind gusts of up to 26 knots. This combination dramatically accelerates heat loss for anyone stranded on the rocks. Beyond the cliffs, strong longshore currents move parallel to the shore. These currents can pull a person several kilometers away from their entry point in a few hours, forcing the U.S. and Moroccan navies to broaden their search area across dozens of miles of coastline. Before the exercise could resume its focus on regional security, the search teams had to contend with a coastline that is inherently unstable and difficult to navigate. Within an hour of the disappearance, CTAF initiated a maximum emergency protocol, pivoting the entire exercise structure into a multinational task force. The response utilized a wide array of specialized assets: U.S. heavy-lift Chinooks ferrying mountain rescue teams, Moroccan Super Puma helicopters for coastal surveillance, and Royal Navy frigates acting as maritime hubs for divers. To manage this diverse fleet, commanders utilized Link 16, an encrypted tactical data link that was already being tested during the exercise. Link 16 provides a common operating picture. If a Moroccan helicopter identifies a point of interest, that data is shared instantly with U.S. ground command and naval vessels, allowing them to coordinate their grids and minimize the time spent researching the same stretches of water. This SAR operation has provided a real-world test of the interoperability the U.S. and Morocco have spent over 2 decades developing. The crisis at Cap Draa has required an immediate repurposing of technologies originally intended for the battlefield. A sophisticated array of drones, deployed for the Flytrap tactical series, was redirected from its primary mission to scan the vertical cliff faces and inaccessible crevices along the shore. These platforms use AI algorithms designed to find anomalies in terrain. In this search, the sensors are tuned to look for thermal signatures and specific color patterns of U.S. Army uniforms against the monochromatic desert backdrop. The rapid shift shows how military hardware designed for high-intensity conflict can be adapted for humanitarian recovery when operational priorities change. This level of cooperation is possible because Morocco serves as a major non-NATO ally and a primary security partner for the United States in North Africa. That partnership is increasingly significant, as a wave of military coups across the Sahel has distanced neighboring nations from Western security agreements, often leaving power vacuums that extremist groups can exploit. However, the large-scale military presence of African Lion also occurs alongside domestic tension. A movement known as Gen Z 212 has been utilizing digital platforms to organize protests against the government's economic priorities. Protesters often contrast the $16 billion spent on World Cup stadiums with a healthcare system that provides only 7.7 medical professionals for every 10,000 inhabitants. In this environment, the massive mobilization of national resources for a foreign military search is a sensitive undertaking that requires the Moroccan government to balance its international alliances with the needs of its own citizens. As the search in Morocco entered its 3rd day, a second crisis emerged 5,000 miles away. On May 4th, the U.S. announced Project Freedom, a mission to escort merchant vessels through the Strait of Hormuz in response to threats from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Managing a high-stake search in North Africa while preparing for a potential maritime conflict in the Persian Gulf puts direct pressure on the U.S. global force management model. Specialized assets, from heavy-lift helicopters to the personnel trained to operate AI-enabled drones, are finite. When these resources are tied up in a prolonged recovery operation in one theater, they are unavailable for a potential escalation in another. The disappearance at Cap Draa highlights how a single localized incident can create a ripple effect, forcing a choice between maintaining a humanitarian commitment and responding to a competing global emergency.
An investment in knowledge pays the best interest, so why not invest in this channel? Click like and subscribe for more.